Hello, and welcome to Indie Encounter. My name is Sandra Laraine Coleman. The mission of our show is to give independent performers and artists access to as wide an audience as possible, and to give you, our viewers, a window into their art, their artistic process, and why they have chosen their particular avenue to connect with the world. All art is about communication and connection. Let's meet today's indie guest, spoken word artist, Urban Voodoo. Welcome, 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 Urban Voodoo.
Thank you. Hello, how are you?
I'm fine, how are you?
I'm doing good. I'm blessed, enjoying life, sunny Southern California. It is
Absolutely.
Beautiful. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
No other better place to be, right, than
Yes,
sunny
ma'am.
Southern California.
Yes, ma'am. It's great to be here on your show, and
Thank
definitely
you.
enjoying it.
Thank you for coming, and I want to talk to you about a little bit about what you do, because you're so busy and so present in the poetry community. You have a radio show, you also host a venue, you travel, so just give us a little glimpse into the life of Urban Voodoo. How is it doing a radio show?
Oh wow, it's fantastic. KLBC is definitely a wonderful organization to do radio with over at Long Beach City College, and we're committed to inspiring independence. It's a campus radio show, so we try to let's get people a little bit away from the usual, the norm, the status quo that we find on FM, AM, with the same old, and get them over to some radio that has young people that are striving to create change in their communities. So that's what we're doing. Besides, a poetry show, you can't beat that with a stick.
You can't.
No,
you can't beat. That's like the best thing going, right?
Yes, yes. I've had the benefit of being able to interview poets from around the world.
Mm-hmm.
I've interviewed some living legends like Talam AC,
right.
and other living legends that are real legends like brother Umar bin Hassan of the Last Poets.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like you feel like part of the movement. You're making history as you go along rather than just reading about history in some class later on. We're doing it as we go.
Right, absolutely, absolutely. So I'm gonna ask you, who's your favorite interview?
Oh wow. By far, I think my favorite interview. Well, it's two.
Okay.
Two girls. One being Georgia Me. She was so. How can you say it? She embodied the show. I mean, when she came in, with all of her Southern, she's from Atlanta,
right.
all of that Georgia, she brought it.
Right.
And the second I would say would be with Queen Sheba.
Mm-hmm.
Queen Sheba was one of the, let's say, realest, most. I mean, it was a totally human show. It was emotional. It was like a breakthrough, breathtaking. We went through every emotion. She had us laughing. There was crying. There was triumph, and you could see it as it unfolded. And one of the things that's remarkable about this is just shows you the power of technology now, because both of these interviews were over the phone, and.
Wow.
Though they weren't in the studio, the listener was able to hear them as if we were all just sitting on the porch, and that's how I like it.
Right.
Yeah, we'd be on the stoop.
Right. Grassroots, right?
Yes, yes.
Absolutely. Now you also get to travel.
Yes, I've been blessed to travel. The last place I went to New Orleans for the Poetry in Motion Care Bearers event. They had big ups to Tasha TNT, we call her Mystique the Poet, and she had an all-star cast of poets from the Louisiana area, and I was blessed to go out and represent Los Angeles.
Wow.
And it was for this young man. His name was Trayvon, a young man who had he was suffering because he had tumors since he was a child, and he constantly having to go through that treatment constantly. So us poets and some of the comedians out of the Louisiana area got together with Tasha, and it was a phenomenal show at the Istanbul Cafe. And before that, I was in New York, and that was the one.
Okay. Yeah. That was the one.
Yes, yes.
So I was going to ask you what your favorite place is to perform as far as poetry. Is it New York?
I mean, I wouldn't say as far. I can't say that I have a favorite place yet, but so far the best experience I had was in New York. I mean, before the day that I was leaving, about to get on the plane and come back to California, I found myself sitting in the living room of the brother Abadoon Ayewale of the Last Poet. So I had already met Umar, you know, but I had never met the other half of the group. And to be able to sit in the presence of elders and we discussed poetry, I let him hear one of my most controversial poems, and you know, hear his feedback on it was it was like, for a young man that grew up listening to it, was really phenomenal for me. And I had the benefit of being able to perform at the what is it called? The Lenox Lounge, you know, world famous Lenox Lounge or whatever, you know, historically significant. And I was also able to perform at the New Yorican Poets Cafe, which actually went to New York for the event at the New Yorican. And wow, they had some phenomenal poets. And then the best thing about it was like the subways. I mean, I'm running into poets on their way to the shows that we all think about going. And you know, it was really lucid, you know, where, you know, we know about Los Angeles traffic. I mean, come on, we all know, you know, whether it's the train or the car. But for them, you know, getting on the subway, it was like constant motion, the sights, the people, the feel, you know, it was felt like being in a historical setting, being able to sit out and chill on a brownstone on Lenox Ave, you know. Wow.
How dope is that, right?
That was dope. What was even more dope was I thought I was gonna go to the Cotton Club. I thought it was the original Cotton Club. Until I got there, and then somebody was like, "Oh, well, no, that's the one they built a little while ago." But to be able to be in Harlem and travel down the streets that I know that some of our greats like Langston Hughes had traveled on, it meant a lot. And it's like you could feel the ancestors with you, you know, like you're following in their footprints, trying to do this poetry thing, you know, and inspire the masses.
What a beautiful experience. But now, since you've had that experience, we want to experience some of your poetry. So will you please bless us?
Oh, yes. Okay, well, the first poem that I'd like to share with you all today is a poem entitled Elevation. And it goes like this. I inhale the dense particles articulated on parchment to become one with sound vibrations floating on wind. I am Nyabingi heartbeat, Andalusian folklore, and Serengeti rhythm. I smell of Amiti, reverberating from ancient forests. I hold concert with griots and black academics. My scholarship is endorsed by angels. My timbre? My timbre like the thunder of 11 million Mandinka hills in hot pursuit of would-be slavers. The sound rising like Hausa tongue across Nile valleys. Call me Africa. I have clothed the bones of nations with kente, descendant of Singbe, Jumo, Baba to Ajay. I am 32.5 degrees north and south, traversing the land in the midnight sun in a fedora. Check my altitude and get at me. I ain't hard to find. Catch me in your local speakeasy, politicking with ghetto savings, dialoguing on street dirges, fighting these street urges. Observe this elevation from earth to man like dust and sand, gathering with the energy of typhoons and tornadoes, elevating cars and concrete. This be nature's violence channeled in word form, where these thoughts emerge from scribbled images of forever in poem.
Wow.
Thank you.
That was beautiful.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
What a journey.
Yes.
What a journey.
Thank you.
And then everything that you spoke about, like I could see it.
Thank you.
And so when you write, especially a piece like that, where does it come from?
I just put it like this. If light travels at 186,000 miles per second, just imagine how fast thought travels and where the thoughts come from but the creator. So I have to definitely give praise to the one who created me, who gave me the gift. Oftentimes, you know, I've done some reading and some studying over time, and a lot of times I won't start like, oh, I'm gonna write about this,
Right.
or I'm gonna write this thing.
Right.
Sometimes an idea just sparks and it flows and it becomes what it's supposed to become. It's like, for me, I feel like I'm channeling. Regardless, I don't want to spook nobody out or get all controversial. But there's a tendency when writing to channel ideas, feelings, emotions, and like as I say in the beginning line is, I inhale the dense particles articulated on parchment. That's talking about the ink that comes out of the pen. It's like we're pulling this out of nothing. Right. And the sounds that these words that come out of our mouths are like on air, you know.
Right.
You ever been somewhere where it sounds like somebody says something?
Yeah.
Ain't nobody saying nothing. It was just the door closing or something.
Right.
You know, it's a matter of allowing for creativity to come out of you. You know, rather than trying to be like this person or that person, or you know, do this thing or that thing, but rather finding that center of self and letting the creativity, you know, kind of like secrete from your pores.
Right.
You know?
Wow.
Yeah.
Beautifully put.
Thank you.
Beautifully put. So, what advice would you have for like younger poets that are trying to, I don't want to say crash the scene, but are trying to find their own voice? What advice would you give to like some younger poets?
First thing I like to say is don't give up and be honest with yourself. Be honest. Like, I come from a background of, I grew up in the city. Let's just put it like that. Inglewood City to be exact. So let's put it like that. And you know, a lot of times being comfortable with oneself allows you to be honest. And when you're honest, it flows. You know, there's no writer's block with honesty. If your plan is to just be honest and put it out there, then you'll get to that niche and just keep working at it. Iron it out, sharpen it, make it real, make it become part of you. You know, and it'll show in your character, it'll show in your performance, and it definitely will show in how and what you write.
Right. Definitely.
And pray.
Okay, that too.
Got you.
That's some excellent advice, because I know that some people struggle, and a lot of times they're trying to sound like someone else versus sounding like themselves, or trying to take from, you know, whoever's hot at the time. And it's not about hot. You know, like you said, it's about honesty. And so I think a lot, and it doesn't have to be poetry, it could be anything. We should be honest in whatever we do. And having said that, let's have some more honest poetry. Okay.
Well, the next poem that I'm going to recite is definitely one of the most honest poems I think I could write. Oftentimes we in public, you know, hey, how you doing? You know, you trying to holler at a girl, hey, how you doing? What's going on? What's your name? And then they don't want to speak to you. And a lot of us, man, we like, oh, she thinks she all that. She stuck up. You know, but we don't reflect on what might have happened to her yesterday. Or last month, or what she got going on at home. So one day I saw this young lady who, she was a really beautiful young lady, but you could see that there was pain. So I wrote a piece called She's Single. She had a little gangster in her, and I could see it. Her swag evident when she spoke. The girl was no joke, serious as a child's first heartbeat, but incomplete she was. Who knows what issues she left at home? Obvious she was on her own, wanted to brighten up her day, but I couldn't see the windows to her soul. She was cold, 30 degrees in California. No wonder she's single. So many years she been numb. Her nose bleeds cocaine lines. She needed a man, but lived with a monster. Problem was she loved dramas and scary movies. Plus she was infatuated with bad boys. Thought she was a bad girl since she was 8. And her cards never looked so great, so she deserved it. She called it a gambler's curse, reasoning that her life was a gamble since birth. After all, there was never a day that heroin didn't stream through her veins. So forget it was her motto. Even when he touched her, she was limp beneath spoiled sheets. He been down 15 years and still she never cheats. Still feeling the stinging pain of knuckles mashing face in the morning. Too tired to make breakfast. too bloody to go to work the next day. She's single cause it's easier that way. It's easier to tell her children they daddy gone without having to explain the man she's bringing home. She often stares at toothpaste splotches. Her mind won't allow her to see beyond the bloodstains. She's single cause love is a battleship that she could never navigate. There was nothing and no one that could guide her. She didn't want to be guided. She prided herself on the fact that she had a high tolerance for pain. Why bother healing? Hardship was her character. After all, not an honest man would marry her, so she hated everyone that tried. Somewhere her heart died, and now resentment lies beneath her sheets. So incomplete, she was single.
Wow. Ooh, that gave me chills.
So it's designed, right? It's supposed to inspire feeling, and insight, and thought.
Yeah, exactly. And so you got all that from did you know her?
I just,
wow.
But I've known, I grew up.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. I understand.
Streets.
Yeah. Right. Wow. So when you write something like that, and at the end you said, she was still single. Now, what about writing her finding that?
Those happen too.
Okay.
Those happen too. It's just that, I know a lot of people look for the
solution.
Not just the solution poem, but the happily ever after poem.
Right.
The poem that makes you feel good about being a poet or a
Right.
writer, but it's a dirty truths that have to be told.
Right.
That we're like how the rappers do. The rappers will tell the truth, but then they glorify behind a lie.
Right.
And as prolific as Tupac was, to have a song like Dear Mama,
right.
and then a song like I Wonder Why They Call You,
right,
in the same kind of time frame, where
exactly.
It's just it keeps us from being authentic.
Yeah.
So I write poems like that to just say, think about it. When a chick tells you she's single, there might be a reason why, and maybe you shouldn't pester her so much and just be her friend.
Yeah. Some support.
Right. And I try to write that poem from the point of view of the friend who knows all this about her.
Right.
But dang, she won't leave him.
Right.
She's single, but that's because he in jail.
Right. Wow. Yeah. Well, let me say thank you.
Thank you.
For writing that part of the story, because that's the part that we don't really hear. And like you said, we automatically assume when we see a person walking down the street, they stuck up, we make an assumption, pass a judgment. But thank you for clarifying.
Thank you.
Because we need some clarity in this world.
I had to find out myself. I was one of them dudes about she don't want to talk to me.
Forget her, right?
Yeah. And you realize one day when you having a bad day and somebody trying to be nice to you,
right?
It was you now.
That's
might have been that same thing.
Might have been.
Or you see a chick walking by with the sunglasses on, they covering up the knot.
Or extra makeup.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nobody stops and says, you need some help.
Right. Yeah. Right. Long sleeves in the summertime.
Yeah.
Burning up high, you got on a turtleneck. Yeah. What's really going on? Yeah. Well, thank you for giving us what's really going on.
Right, thank you. 10 toes to the ground with it. Yeah.
Man. And so now you host a venue too. It's a once a month venue, or
no? We do a show every second and fourth Sunday of the month.
Okay.
So we got the Lamert Park Art Walk. So we open the first show of the month on the second Sunday. And then we close out with the art walk on the fourth Sunday.
Okay.
And that's live at Jenga Jenga, right in the Lamert Park Village. I mean, wow, it's a beautiful place. If you've never been to Lamert Park, you need to go. It's a cultural hub. Believe that, with everybody from some of the dopest jazz musicians to to people like Ruby Dee done been through there, you know, Barbara Morrison, you know, you got people that have really been doing it for years, and we just happen to be in the same location, which was the original home of Fifth Street Dix, which was opened up by Mr. Fuller, you know. So that means a lot, you know, and you just got to get out there. Lamert Park, right off of Crenshaw and Vernon. You can't miss it. It's in the Crenshaw district. Jingle, jingle. We at 3347 and a half, 43rd place. So if you're looking for us, you know.
And that's where we'll be.
So
every second and fourth Sunday.
Every second and fourth. Right. Right. Definitely get out to the park, period, because there's always a drum circle on Sundays. And, you know, when you had stuff like the Trayvon Martin incident, that's where you found the people marching about Trayvon Martin. That's where you're going to find the people that's going to be trying to come together, you know, in the tradition of the Bobby Seals and whatnot.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Definitely.
And the book fair every year and the Kwanzaa Festival.
And oh, man, Kwanzaa Festival's off the hook.
Man.
Yeah. Got to get out there. And it's a shame because a lot of people don't even know about what's going on in the community. Yeah.
But that's what we're here for. We're here to tell them and enlighten them. Yes. So, you know, hopefully we can get people out there and supporting and going to the venues and, you know.
So, they survived the riots. Get out there.
Okay, for real.
And held it down.
For real. For real. So bless us with another piece.
Okay. Well, you know, this is National Poetry Month.
Yes.
So I really usually don't like reading off of this thing, but read some of my new stuff.
Okay, good.
We write a poem each day for 30 days during the month of April to commemorate National Poetry Month. And this is around the world. If you don't know about poetry, Google it. It's around the world. We're getting down. This piece is called Insurrection. They said freedom would be found behind a bushmaster, bloody carnage left in wake of sleepless dreaming, where nightmares dance beneath camouflage and grimacing, but somehow it falls short of reality on the home front, where freedom is clothed in poverty and destitution. Revolution is a pedestrian trying to cross a busy street with baggage, hoping to keep up with liberty waiting at the bus stop, only to have the bus pass them up because it's too full, done picked up too many passengers. While looting national coffers, they call it nation building. They call it nation building, while my nation building blocks for industrial prison complexes, too complex for rehabilitation, and corrections are made under false pretenses. Suspended sentences have you on borrowed time, living the life of Riley, but your mortgage is subprime, collapsing beneath the weight of pride and indecision. And that's that poem.
Wow.
Like that.
New stuff, yeah. Insurrection. All right. Wow. So I'm doing it too. Every year, the month of April.
Yes.
A poem a day.
Poem a day.
For 30 days.
Yes, it's a beautiful challenge. You'd be surprised what you'll come up with.
Man.
Yeah.
Man.
Yeah, and then you'll be surprised what you'll read from other people.
Yes.
Yes.
The growth.
Yes.
Yes. So do you feel yourself growing and do you experiment with other forms?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I feel myself evolving constantly. You know, it's always an ebb and flow. So you know, I go through periods where. Like I went through the period where I wrote She's Single. I don't know, I wrote like maybe about 3 or 4 different pieces that were dealing with domestic violence. And it was I feel like certain things come up that are very important, like, you know, like for instance, this gun issue that's going on here in America with all of this violence that we're seeing every day. It's like it causes these transitions in the writing. And I think that it's an evolution. I think that it is a becoming. You know, like we're never complete. We're always becoming.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So that's beautiful.
Thank you.
It's a good way to see it because we see things as artists that everybody doesn't see. And we can take what's really going on for those who don't have or maybe can't articulate it. And we seem to be very good at articulating, you know?
Yeah.
You know, and the history keepers.
Yes, yes.
Man.
Yeah, it's a really big responsibility, but it's so rewarding.
It is.
You know,
truly.
especially when you're true to the craft.
Yes.
Yes.
And you have to be true, and you have to be honest and responsible.
Yes.
Responsible.
Yes.
So I want to thank you so much for coming.
Thank you.
I'm going to read the conclusion and let you close out with your final piece.
Okay.
And thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.
This has been Indie Encounter, a journey into the world of the independent creators of art and artistic expression. I want to thank today's guest, Urban Voodoo, for sharing his poetic vision and talents with us. If you want to find out more about today's guest, check out his Facebook page, facebook.com/UVLIVE and direct, or on Twitter @Urban Voodoo. Check out the website here at pasadenamedia.org and select the Arroyo channel. You can also catch the live feed of the Arroyo channel on YouTube. Thanks to our director, Lilia Fernandez-Gaspar, and our crew for making the show possible. Thanks to all of you. We hope to see you here again when we embark on another Indie Encounter. Alchemy from Urban Voodoo.
You know, I messed up and read the wrong one on the first one. It was supposed to be, I was supposed to have read the corner, so let me get Alchemy.
Okay.
This alchemy of syntax, verbal acrobats, spit facts, pulled from ether like hydrogen ions. I am a vessel, God speaking either through ink pens or instruments. No coincidence in this cadence. Radiate like the anointed, twisting words into scripture. My pen is double jointed. I bring arguments that are pointed like primitive spearheads. My bone marrow fed with phosphorus and royal DNA. We in a crux, responding with an influx of rhythm and meter. Measuring time, I am sundial pointing due east. No longer wandering, I am pure, was once dirty coal buried beneath insecurity. Now I shine like tempered diamond, cutting through glass ceilings, shattering glass. I am the reincarnation of potential in the eyes of a young boy, trapped behind color codes and color lines, the cornerstone neglected by builders. I am the reality of a people desperately struggling to survive. I strive to be, knowing that being is the true nature of the divine. He is, therefore I am. Merely a man, but a messenger. I am a griot, chipping words into sculpture. I am a rock, unmoved by the threat of crumbling. I am Urban Voodoo. Thank you.
Thank you so
Yes,
much.
ma'am.
That was
Yes, ma'am.
awesome.
That's queen.
Beautiful poetry.
Thank you.
Beautiful.
Great show.